there are reviewers that are biased and they might block women projects only because they are women too young or too old or too black or too whatever. Yes, there are persons, and this is a personal level, but there is no lobby in Switzerland. I might say it depends a lot on the assistants or that meeting. I cannot generalize.
Einerseits wird da sehr drauf geachtet aktuell, denke ich, also gerade in diesen Junior-Hiring-Prozessen und so weiter, ist es aktuell so, dass eben auch meine Postdoc-Kollegen, die männlichen, mehr Mühe haben, dann in der Wissenschaft, im akademischen System eine Stelle zu finden als die weiblichen. Und das ist sehr schade, weil diese Männer haben nichts mit irgendwelchen Biases in der Wissenschaft zu tun natürlich, die sind zu jung dafür. Aber bisher ist mir das entsprechend dann nicht wirklich begegnet einfach, weil es da Leute gab vor mir, die da viel Vorarbeit geleistet haben.
I have an unpleasant example where the project has not been financed because the reviewer mentioned that due to my family duties, I was not involved in upper management scenario. Therefore, I might not be able to coordinate the project. You get their comments, you read their comments, and because this is the obligation that you know why your project has not been financed. And yes, that has been shocking. All these evaluation processes are confidential. Therefore, you do not know, you know only about your project, and normally, not in that case, the comments of the reviewer are professional. That means are related to science, not to something like that. When I discuss, I learn from other female colleagues that they were also blocked by different type of, let's say, comments that were not really scientific. I'm thinking that it's essential that the projects are evaluated based on their seriosity and novelty of science. What might be done, I would say, to solve this issue will be unknown proposals, that because we do not know the reviewer, but they know who we are. If this might be anonymous, in that case, the reviewer will not know if it's a male, female, how old, how this, how that. Perhaps that might help.
Yeah, when you are in a lab space, you tend to talk a lot with your colleagues and you tend to learn a lot about their lives. You have times where you're pipetting continuously, or you're just working on the bench quantifying cells or something like this, and you get to know each other really well, and you're there usually for several years, so you get to see people progress through their challenges. During my PhD, there was, for instance, a postdoc who also became a mother, and a single mother, and she had to work through balancing having a child and also having an impressive scientific resume. So being able to see her perform these tasks, there were of course struggles, but seeing her network around her, the other women in our lives, and also men who were there to support her, and she still could accomplish these things, this is really impressive. So I think you see women who are more relatable when you're in the spaces that they're also in. You see your friends, and you can relate to them, and okay, today they're having a really tough day because maybe something failed, or maybe there was a miscommunication or something, but you can understand better how they work through it, and how they work through it can also be very inspiring. So I think having women around you in the space, or other people who you can relate to, really, I think this is also very crucial.
The most intense period normally is when you have young children up to, let's say, when they are starting to be 10, 11 is something else, but the first 10 years, that it's challenging, I'd say.
Ich habe eine Chefin,
Meine Chefin ist auch Professorin hier an der Uni Basel. Wir haben eine sehr ausgeglichene Geschlechterverteilung im Team. Ich finde es schön zu sehen, dass egal welchen Geschlechtes oder auch welcher Nationalität man angehört, dass man in der Wissenschaft seinen Platz hat und findet und das Geschlecht hier keine Rolle spielt, wie gut die Arbeit ist oder ob man dort überhaupt einen Platz hat. Und das zu sehen, indem man real 50-50 eigentlich aufgestellt ist, das finde ich toll.
I think it would be very nice as a woman scientist or a woman faculty member to have support for the maternity care from the government or from the society, so that they would not also get somehow discriminated because of the very basic instinct, the very basic thing of nature. If I really could change something, I would only change the mentality for the higher generation, like older generation who are now deciding whom to hire. Because again, I would hire based on the merit and not based on gender or also nationality.
Let's give an example that both husband and wife have demanding jobs. Who comes home to be there when the children get home after the after-school program? Who makes their dinner in the evening? There should be an acceptance that maybe it's okay to come in at 8 and leave at 5 if you're going home, and you can still be effective even though you're taking care of your family. And I think a lot of the times long hours and working on the weekends and the evenings are expected. And I think a lot of people with families do that. They just do it in a different timeline than people without. And this is something that maybe should be more understandable and accepted. Maybe meetings at 5:30 and dinners in the evening with speakers, it shouldn't be the norm. Maybe lunches should be the norm, so that you don't miss good career opportunities because you want to have dinner with your children. It seems like small things, but they can make a big impact on the opportunities that are available to you. I think the system needs to change. So everybody in the system needs to change. It's not only the top, it's the whole thing. Maybe it needs to come from the top down, but there also needs to be some understanding in the middle. I mean, you can't, if publications are the way we're judged, we're always going to be judged on publications. So the whole system would have to shift to a different way of judging. But what could that system be? I have no idea, because this is the output of us is publication. So it's a tough question.
Vorbilder mal erstmal überhaupt aufbauen zu können, war es auch so wichtig, am Anfang wirklich diese Frauenförderung zu haben. Ich würde sagen, die gibt es jetzt je länger, je mehr. Also ich kenne einige, ich habe meine persönlichen Favorites, die ich so wirklich als Leuchttürme sehe. Und das, glaube ich, ist sehr wichtig auch, dass Frauen sehen, dass es möglich ist. Es ist von Uni zu Uni unterschiedlich, muss man auch wieder sagen, aber an vielen Stellen muss man nicht mehr über Gleichberechtigung oder irgend sowas reden, weil es einfach der Standard ist. Also die großen Städte haben Stadtpräsidenten, die Frauen sind, und an der Uni auch und auch in den Unternehmen, in den Verwaltungsräten und so weiter gibt es viel mehr Frauen in Holland als in der Schweiz. Und ja, das kreiert halt ein Umfeld, wo man über viele Dinge einfach kein Thema mehr sind.
I will change the fact that the projects are financed by scientific merit and not by bias. That I will change it. Because I'm thinking that male, female, whatever type of color, of religion, whatever the ideas are not related to that, are related to the passion for science, to understand nature, and that is not gender or whatever related. No. It's the curiosity, is the pleasure to understand or to advance nature, to help the society. These are not related to men and women scenario at all. I wish that in 10 years, 20 years, this kind of scenarios will be completely changed. I'll be very happy.
Da spielt natürlich auch Geschlechtergerechtigkeit mit rein und Chancengleichheit. Und hier zu sehen, dass das ernst genommen wird, dass man das fördern möchte und sich damit auch kritisch auseinandersetzen möchte, das ist für mich was Schönes und das weiß ich sehr wertzuschätzen.